my dear cute little champions, I hope that you all are doing as wonderful as you are. So yesterday we launched our series, that is 99% in 99 days, and today here we are with a study plan. So you know, different subjects needs a different approach, different strategy. So I'll be telling you all about that, and also I'll be giving you a timetable of how you can divide a day. If you are a person who goes to tuitions, or if you are a person who stays at home and study, so it's for all of you guys, okay? And with the help of this, we would make our dream into reality of scoring 99%. So children, first question, how many months do we have in hand really? Talking about that, we have November, December and January. So you know that in January and in the month of November, some of you at least some of you might have a pre-board over here. For sure, you might have a pre-board over here from Sahodaya. So obviously, you might be a bit packed, so we have to utilize our time accordingly. So for that, there are certain steps. We would go one by one, okay? First thing, you should be knowing about the total subjects and the total number of chapters. So for mathematics, you have 14 chapters. For science, you have 13 chapters. It is divided into physics, chemistry and biology. Social science, it is 22 chapters. Again, it is divided into history, civics, geography and economics. Now, in this 22 chapters, few, I think 3 or 4 are for internal assessment and stuff like that. So you can just avoid them. Again, in English, you have 28 chapters. Then you have second language, depending on the region you are staying at and what you have chosen. You have different subject for both of this. Optional subject and the second language would be different for each of you guys, right? So this is the total number of subjects that we have, and these are the total number of chapters that we have. Now it's in your hand how you will be segregating each chapters, okay, and how you are trying to going to prepare it. So if you're not aware about the chapters, you won't understand the need for urgency. You'll be like, time is there, I'll study later on. No, these many chapters are there, so we have to utilize our time really carefully, especially when you are sandwiched between the pre-board exams, right? So yeah, first thing. Now, next thing that we have is analyze your midterm scores. So you have completed your midterm, right? And in your midterm, the paper was out of 80. So as of now, first thing that we have to do is analyze ourselves. So if you are a person who got 64 plus in any other subject, that means your subject is kind of strong. If you are a person who got 40 to 63 marks, okay, in any subject, that means that subject is kind of moderate for you. If you have scored below 40 in some subject, that means you are weak in that subject and you need to work on that. So according to it, you have to make a chart first. Okay, you have for mathematics it's moderate, for science it's strong, for social science it's weak, for this is strong. So if you know that this is the thing, and now probably you have to pay attention to this. You need to invest a bit more time in social science, since because of some reasons you are lagging behind in this particular subject. Now if you are not aware about your weaknesses, would you be able to work on that, children? No, which is why I said, even though it sounds very silly that you have to analyze your test scores, but it is kind of very important also. Once you analyze, you are aware of what you are weak at, now you would be working on that. So this is something that you have to work on. You will prioritize your days for social science because it is difficult for you, or probably you will use another mechanism to understand social science. If NCERT is not working, you will look for something else, for example one-shot videos that might help you, but you would come to a conclusion, you would find your own solution. For that, you have to be aware of where you are standing. So analyze your midterm scores. As of now, you know that something has completed, your midterm is completed, right? So you can analyze it. And please not feel demotivated that, okay, there might be a child who might be weak in multiple subjects. It's okay. Now you understand that, okay, I might not be giving my best, but it's time to give my best. I should be trying to do better. The will to improve is more important. Okay, the will to improve is very much important. You have to try it out and you will find success for sure. Okay, now next thing that we need to do is action plan. We should be having an action plan for the preparation, a strategy for the preparation. For that, what you should be doing, children? You should be downloading the sample papers. Okay, in the official website of the CBSE, you will get the sample papers. You can download it and then analyze the sample papers. Okay, analyze whole sample papers, see for the questions, what chapters do they come from, understand it. Now, Identify the tentative weightage of the chapter. You won't be able to understand the complete weightage, that this chapter will give you 5 marks or 4 marks. No, you might not be able to understand, but you would be able to understand that, okay, in biology, probably more questions are coming from control and coordination and life processes in comparison to how do organisms reproduce. You will at least get a conclusion about it, and according to it, you can create a weightage chart. Okay. Now, one more thing, apart from this, there is also one more thing that is released by the CBSE, and that is the marking scheme. Okay, and the link for the marking scheme I'll be putting down in the description box, okay, or in the comment section, so you can go through that. They have not segregated according to the chapters, but according to the for example, in natural resources there are 2 chapters, our environment and one more chapter. Okay, so they have segregated according to the portions, not according to the chapters, but according to the topics. So in topics you have subtopics, and the subtopics are your chapter. Okay, if you have not understood what I am trying to say, for example, A might be the subtopic. Under A there is A1 and there is A2. So A2 might be important, A1 might not that be important, but they have given the marks for total A, that it gives you 5 marks. You never know it's from this chapter or this chapter. So that is a little problem about the marking scheme, but still if you want to compare different portions, it will be really helpful for you. I can put it down in the comment section. Okay. So you have to download the sample paper, children, okay, and then you will get an idea, basic tentative idea of the weightage of each chapter. Now what you have to do is make the order of chapters for preparation. Now since you know the weightage, okay, that this particular chapter might be giving more questions, I would be putting it on high priority, that I have to cover this particular chapter first. Now once you have made the whole list of chapters, paste it in front of your table and follow religiously. You do not have to do any cheating, okay. And when you are making a timetable like that, the thing that you should be knowing is that, for example, I took the chapter that is life processes, and I am saying I have to complete the chapter in 2 days. So 2 days means 2 days. So when I am making the order of chapters for preparation, in front of that I have to put the number of days also, which is very much important, because what happens is that we think it's high priority, so we take it up to 5 days. No, that cannot be done. We have to complete it within 2 days, because that chapter might be just worthy of just 2 days. If we can complete it within 2 days, then why are you taking it forward? Because we have so many chapters still to be covered, right? So when you make the chart, okay, please make sure that you are putting the deadline also, and you work accordingly. So we read the went to the sample papers, we got a basic idea of the weightage of the chapters, and along with that we put down a list, okay, we put down a list of the chapters for preparation, and also we put down the deadlines. Fine, and I will be providing you the link for the sample papers and the marking scheme as well. So if you are finding it difficult to search through, I will be of help. So we have created an action plan for the preparation. Now we are ready, okay. One more thing we have to do, and that is know your level of preparation. So in the chapters also, when you made the chapters list, okay, there might be certain chapters which you have finished. Mark them as finished. In midterm you studied it, it's finished. You do not have to invest too much time into it. Just revisit them during the weekends. So weekends are for revision. So during that particular point of time, you can revisit it. Next comes halfway, the chapters that you have studied halfway. So probably in your midterms, only half of the chapter might have come. So you can study that half particular portion of the chapter, okay, and keep for the rest, but you have to give it the priority, okay. So the chapters that is halfway completed, let's complete the other half and complete it in a whole sense. So complete them within a set deadline. Please do not go ahead of it, okay. Now next thing, there are certain chapters which you have not touched until now, so give them priority during the preparation. Now please understand that these untouched chapters, no, if the weightage is kind of low, then do not give them very high priority. In the untouched chapters, there might be certain chapters which has high priority, high weightage also. Give them the first category and give this the fourth or the fifth category. Okay, so in untouched, I am trying to tell you, there might be chapters that might be of high weightage, and there may be chapters that might be of low weightage. Segregate and give it high priority. So you know, you have already prepared the chart and you know the level of priority in them. In that, when you mark them, untouched ones will be the ones in which high weightage is required will be the ones that you have to cover first. Then comes the low weightage ones. Cool. So you should be knowing your level of preparation for that. Works? So finished, halfway, untouched. Now, how should you actually approach a chapter? What is a correct way of dealing with a chapter or studying a chapter? Read the chapter from the NCERT. Now here I have written like that, but I want to give you an option. Some children know. So during the exams, you know, it's quite near. You might not feel that confident to read through NCERT because NCERT sometimes might give you twisted, concepts. You might not be able to understand the language. So I'll recommend, instead of reading from the NCERT directly, okay, if you can, go through one-shot videos of the chapter. Okay, I'll prioritize it more. Go through one-shot videos of the chapter and then move on to NCERT. That will be very, very easy for you then. Because once you have understood the concept clearly, understanding NCERT also becomes very, really easy. So after you have seen the video, go for the NCERT and do the rest. Okay. Now, when you are done with the page, make an outline of it in pointers. So once you are done with the page, what do you do is that make an outline of the page, that this is a point, this is a point, this is the point that I read. In pointers, you have to write it. Don't write the whole paragraph there. No one needs the paragraphs. Okay, everyone need point-to-point answers, and this is very much important for your boards. Okay, so once you're done with the page, what you have to do is make an outline of the pointers. Now, please remember, this is something that you would refer to later when you are revising. This is something that you would refer later when you are revising. Do not use too many of color pens and stuff like that. No, just normal 2 pens, black and blue, and just write it off. That's all. Okay, and remember, these pointers are the one that you would be used for revision later on, so this has to be perfect. So all your important points should be here. Nothing bad, nothing extra should be over here. Cool. Now, there might be certain things that you might not be understanding. Mark the things which you are not able to understand at all. Do not invest too much of your time trying to understand. No. As of now, we do not have that time. I know there might be certain very important things that you might not be understanding. It's okay. Mark it, put a star and mark it later on Sundays. We are going to do this only. On Sundays are for revision and also for solving all your doubts. So, here on Sundays, we would be solving the doubts. Okay. By we, I mean, okay, we can try. We will definitely help you out whenever you need. But apart from that, if you also want to do your independent studies, yes, you can utilize the Sundays because you have plenty of hours to go through any such videos wherever you want and understand and solve your doubts as well. Okay, but do not invest too much of your time when reading a chapter over there where you are stuck. Now, next, use your 5 minutes for active recall of the content learned. So once you are done with the content, what you have to do is actively try to recall. What do you mean by active recalling? Active recalling is not writing things down, nothing. Just close your eyes and think what all you have studied. Bring in a loop. Think, stress on it and think each and every detail that you have studied. In this way, you are actively recalling. You're making the brain an active participant of your revision cycle. Okay, and in this way, you are telling your brain that this is important, we have to learn it. This is important, we have to learn it. Okay, and if you make it a habit, your brain will store lots and lots of information, my dear children. Okay, now that is also done. Now, one more thing. The last 30 minutes of your preparation should be for solving the PYQs. That is very much important. So, whatever chapter you are studying, at the end of the chapter, you have to solve previous year questions. Very much important. And now, if you think that you have time, okay, this is a general thing for how to master a chapter, but later on during the month of January when you are revising, at that point of time, what you can do is that look for the question papers first, see the type of questions that are coming and then do the revision. So that will give you an extra idea of things. I'll come to that later on. Okay, so this is what I will suggest. See the one-shot videos, then read the NCERT, then make an outline of the page, start things that you are not able to remember. 5 minutes, use it for active recall, either in the start of the time when you are starting to study. Okay, so the previous thing that you study, you can actively recall, or by in the end, you can use active recall technique to remember everything that you have studied during this particular time. Now, use the last 30 minutes for preparation. Please put it in the alarm that 30 minutes are there and I have to use it somehow for question paper practice. Okay, now the next thing, that is Practice questions without fail. As I said, practicing questions are really important. So what you need to do is practice 20 to 30 number of questions within fixed timings. So if you have fixed a chapter, for example, I am studying biology. At the end of that particular tenure, I am using 30 minutes for solving 5 questions from biology or 7 questions from biology. Next 1 hour I will be utilizing for studying maths. In that 30 minutes again, more than 30 minutes, because maths is something that needs practice. So I'd be using 40 minutes for solving questions, again 10 questions. In that way, I have to practice at least 20 to 30 number of questions within fixed timings, and there is no way that you can avoid it. Now, I will recommend you to do one more thing which is very important. So once you are reading the chapter, you know the content and everything, and then you are going ahead with solving the sample papers. Now you have the sample papers with you, you know the questions that is coming from this chapter. What you can do is write down the repeated questions from 2, 3, 4 and 5 marker questions. For example, I am a biology teacher so I am giving more examples of biology, please do not take it otherwise. So I have made a page, okay, in where I have written 2 marker questions and I have given a question over here. Similarly, 3 marker question and I have given a question over here. So certain questions, when I went through certain years, and I found that okay, this question has been repeated, as in the question itself is not being repeated, but the content is being repeated. Every time there's a question on excretion, every time there's a question on hemodialysis. So why not write the questions down? So you have to maintain a book, my dear children, a notebook, okay? You can segregate the book into different parts, 2 different parts. One part is for science, other part should be for maths. So in the science part, what you can do is, you can write question 1, these are the questions that are coming frequently for 2 marker, for 3 marker, for 4 marker and 5 marker. In 3, 4 and 5 marker, you don't have to write the entire question. Please write, questions have come from what? Different parts of excretory system, or how and what, on what basis water reabsorption is dependent on. So all this thing, the key terms that you can remember, you write it there. What is the use of doing this, children? Now, when it's time for revision, you can open this book, see the questions. Okay, this is the question and this is the topic the question has come from. So probably this is a high priority topic of this particular chapter. So I should be revisiting that particular concept and reading it. That is the use of writing this down. Now you can do the same for social science as well as language. You can make a book for social science and language. Please make sure you are using just one book for writing the questions, and there you can have another book for writing the answers when you are practicing the writing section, okay? And while you are practicing writing section, please make sure you are not writing paragraph. Again, you are using just the pointers. Please write just the points. Okay, why I'll tell you? Because in the case of boards, I'll tell you how the checking is done. So the teachers who are going to check the paper get a blueprint of, okay, this is the answer, you have to give half marks for this. If they have written this particular thing, you have to give half marks for this particular thing. Now, for example, I am checking science paper. In that, science has physics, chemistry and biology. It's not necessary that a biology teacher will be checking a biology paper. Because it's just science, there will be any teacher who would be checking this with the help of the blueprint given. Now, he or she would not be knowing what you have written extra. That does not mind. That is of no use. Basically, you have to write precise answer and accordingly you will get answers. So, you will get marks. So, please write in points, because in points you are showing off your confidence that, okay, I am confident, you can read out. In paragraph, people write songs also. So, no one takes care of it. They don't give marks at all. When you write in points, you are showing that you are confident to show off your answers. And especially when you underline, it gets all better. Okay, so practice questions without fail. So you've analyzed, you know the level of practice for each sections or each chapters. Now you are practicing the questions without fail. And the next thing, okay, where can you get the questions from? NCERT, the first source. NCERT Exemplar, that's an important source. Now CBSE also have released the sample papers. So over here, you can see the site. I said I'll put down the link, you will get the link. Okay, so over here this mathematics SQP is written. I don't know if it's visible for you, I'll just zoom it in. Okay, for each subject they have given sample question papers. You can click on that and practice it. Over here they have given the marking scheme as well. Okay, either way you can click on that and get to know the type of questions that could be framed. Now, apart from this, there is Oswald book or any other reference book. Okay, they also give out their own sample papers. You can work on that as well. So, you have so many resources for question practice that the only thing is that you should be having time for practicing it, and you will have the time only if you have a proper schedule and everything aligned. Okay, so that is one thing that is important. Now, after practicing question, the next important thing is revising things regularly. So revision is as important as studying because it will help cement the content in your brain, and we will reserve your Sundays for revision. Okay, Sundays are for revision. I'm not saying that every day you should not be revising. Every day you should be doing active recall. On Sundays we would be producing we would be utilizing more of our time for revision. Think like that and work like that. Cool? Now, how to revise efficiently, that becomes a question. So start with reading the summary of the chapter. So you have your pointers, children, you have your own notes, the outline that you made. You can use that also. That is mentioned over here. You can use the help of mind maps that you might have created for any chapter. Okay, then you can use the summary of the chapter. Read at the end of the chapter, there's a summary, just go through it, you'll get an idea of things, and you can revise properly by taking a question paper and starting to solve it. So when you start to solve questions, no, you are actually revising things. Okay, you think, oh, this is the answer, this is how I should be framing. Again, you are revising. So I'll say that's the best method for revision, but again, this you can do after a point where you think that you have got better at one particular topic. Otherwise, yeah, there are chances that you might feel demotivated when you're not able to answer questions, but it's okay. At that point of time, open your notebook, read through it and come again and try to answer it, but you should be trying it. So I'll say use your own short notes, or then you can use a summary of the book, okay, and then you can solve questions and revise efficiently as well. Works for you? Now, next thing, seek help when needed. So don't hesitate to solve your doubts, my dear children. And I have written something over here. Remember, doubts are powerful. Doubt is the father of invention. So people who had doubts have been in a very big position. Why, children? Because these doubts made them crave for findings. They went ahead out of the bubble, out of the comfort zone, and tried a lot of things in their life. Okay. And you can ask to your friends, you can ask to the teachers who are there in the school, and also you can leave a comment. We would love to help you, and I would love to remind you that very often. So we do not know your identity, and even if you know, that's not a problem, because that's just a doubt. And every human beings, they will have doubts. So normalize having doubts and asking them as well. Cool. Next. Now, from now on, so I have told you the basic thing, that you have to analyze the question paper and do this. You have to know your level of preparation for each thing, whether it's untouched, it's prepared or not, whatever. Okay. Then we saw the question papers, how we can download it, how we can revise efficiently, all of that. Now we are going for each subject. Okay, how you can approach for each subject. So first subject is mathematics. Okay, or math. So thing that you should be doing is clear the concepts. So for that, go through the concepts and put the concepts into practice. Mathematics is a subject that needs a lot of practice. So if you're not doing it, children, you're not going to get your marks. Okay, so practice questions, practice fixed number of questions every day from NCERT and the sample papers. There is no choice. As I said, 40 minutes for question practice, 40 minutes for question practice each day. Go to the concept, go have the formulas and everything, and then just practice. Take mock test under time condition to improve speed and accuracy. Now, once you are in that particular level, okay, you have practiced the questions from sample papers, you are pro at it. Now, this can be done towards the month of January. Towards the month of January, what you can do is, or you have time left in December, then also you can do, okay, you can attend mock test. So in mock test, there is fixed time, and then you have to solve all the questions. So that you can do, it will increase your speed and accuracy. So in boards, most people suffer by not completing their paper. They feel that 3 hours are not sufficient. So it's because you have to work on your speed. And some people, they try to by heart math. No, children, you cannot by heart math by hearting the sample papers. Nothing. You have to solve it and try it out. Then only you will be able to understand. So have timed practice. Regular practice session should be there every day. Timed practice session should be there when you are you feel that, okay, I am better at it, I should be practicing it often. Okay, so that is one thing. Now you should be having a formula sheet. Create a formula sheet for quick revision. So every now and then, obviously you cannot go back to the chapters. So for every chapters, you can have certain formula sheets just like this. Cool. Now that is a strategy for mathematics. So in mathematics, what should we prioritize more, children? Practicing questions. Practicing questions under timed conditions. Okay, that is something that we should be prioritizing more, and you should be making a formula sheet as well. Next thing. Oh, there's one very important thing that I want to say. Okay, so there is something that is known as DSAT, okay, which is given by us, Diksha. So this is something which you might need if you are someone who is confused about what to do after 10th. So in this, you will be having a 60 minutes concept based lecture. After that, you will be having an aptitude test. Then there will be a one-on-one counseling, and then there will be assessment on the basis of which they will be guiding you as in what stream you should be choosing next. So it's a test that you can attend, and the link for this will be provided in the description box, so you can go and check it out. Cool? So that is about Diksha's Scholastic Aptitude Test. Cool? Now, the next subject that we are having is science, my dear children. For science, again, we have different approaches for biology, chemistry and physics. Chalo. For biology, practicing diagrams and labelings is very important. Okay, this is extra things that I am telling you. For all common, I have written over here. These are certain extra things. Okay, for biology, practicing diagrams and labelings are important. So what you can do is understand the diagrams, make it. For example, female reproductive system. You made the diagram. Okay, you made the diagram. Do not label it. Do not label it later on. So in that way, you will be able to recollect the labeling. So sometimes we forget to label, we do not remember the terms. This would help you out. Now chemistry, you should practice chemical equations and look out for repeated chemical equations. So there might be displacement reaction that are repeated so many times. Look out for that. Write it somewhere that these are something that is being repeated, and I need to put special attention to it. Obviously, the questions would be coming from them. Okay. Now for physics, you should be making a sheet for formulas for the numerical, just like how you have a formula sheet for mathematics. Okay. Now in general, what all you need to do is make short notes. Read the NCERT and make concise notes using mind maps or pointers to go through the concept. Now this is very important because science is a subject where you have to write the things. And again, I am telling you, please don't write big paras, just pointers. Just pointers. Make the outline, and that works for science. Okay, practice questions, try to solve NCERT questions. NCERT exemplar questions are important, and the previous year questions would give you a complete idea. So in the case of boards, in the case of science, the questions, as I said, is not repeated as such. They change certain terms here and there, but the meaning of the questions again becomes the same. So if you are someone who has practiced previous year questions, it becomes really easy for you to understand the questions as well. Sometimes when you see the questions, you might be like, I'm not understanding the questions. But if you already know the type of questions that could come, it could help you really well. Now, while revising, try solving the sample paper questions. So whenever the time comes when you're revising, as I said, 30 minutes is for question solving. So use that time for solving your questions. Again, for biology, chemistry and physics, I told you, in chemistry, look out for repeated chemical equations. Children, you will get so many chemical equations that are repeated. Now, when we would be starting off our lectures for each of the subject, we would be helping you regarding this as well on a personal level. Yeah. Now, key points for social science. For social science, use imagination as a tool to study subjects like history. So history is a boring subject, okay? At least it was for me, but my teacher who was teaching me history made it an amazing subject. And then I never felt that it was boring, it was interesting for me. So that teacher made me imagine a lot of things. I used to imagine whatever fights and World War and everything that was going through. In that case, I was able to recollect and understand things more better. Okay, so use imagination as a tool to study subjects like history. You can watch videos. That does not mean that you can use this time. Sundays you can use for that. You can watch videos on World War. They will give you an idea. It will help you feed things better. Okay. Now, how can you learn civics? Teach others and learn civics. Talk to your parents about civics. Okay, they would love to hear that from you. Okay, little amount of democracy. Now, relate and learn geography. You have your map, you have everything. Go through it, understand these things, relate it, and then try to learn geography. I know what I'm saying, it might not be that easy to say, but I have been there. That's why I'm telling you. This is just a small way. You can try different approaches, right? So for civics, go to your parents and ask them, this is about democracy that I know, is it true, this or that. So in that way, you are trying to help yourself remember a lot of difficult things, okay, which you might not be able to remember in a long run. So when that interaction comes, when we remember what they have said, so it usually get clicked. Okay, this is something that I have heard somewhere, I should be writing like this. It will help you. Now practice map works. This is very much important. So relate the location with stories. This will help you remember better. So again, if there is some question on what is the thing that is being produced most in Madhya Pradesh and things like that, if you have a story behind it, some short story that you can remember, you will be able to label it really well. Okay, and practice answer writing. Take the previous year questions and try answering them in points, and keep timer limit for each answer. So social is a subject where you need to write a lot, and if you not have a limit for it, then your time just goes off. So you know, I got it from the sheet where the question is how, marking sheet, okay, how is the issue of sustainability important for development? Explain. Now this question can be written in paragraph, but they didn't write in paragraph, they have written in points. Now for each points, children, there will be marks, so you should be taking care of it. Write in points, underline what is very much important. Okay, now if you are someone who have not practiced writing, how will you understand in how many points you can cover it up? So if you know the answer well, if you have practiced it before by any chance, at the day of exam it becomes a lot more easy for you. Okay, this is the point, this is the point, this is the next point. So it becomes easy for you. So why not make things really easy for you? Try it out. Cool. So that is one thing. Now that's up for social science, and also practice the map works. Now key points for English. English is a language, so you need to have practice talking it, reading it, and things like that. So practice reading and writing, and work on grammar. Practice more and more questions from this part and make your grammar really strong. So this is again from the marking scheme. So in that they have written any 10 out of 12 questions to be attempted, marked. Okay, full credit for correct answer, no partial credit, half marks for any question in this section. So you should be answering this or this or this. Anywhere if you are answering something else, you are not going to get half marks. This is how the answer scheme comes, the blueprint comes. This is how they go and check. So you should be very precise while answering, and you can be precise only when you know things. So you should be practicing that. Work on grammar. Say that I can do it, I will do it, and make your vocabulary really strong. Okay, by reading extra sources like newspapers, books, because you know there is extempore thing. There are so many internal marking and things like that coming along your way. So you can practice that and be better at it as well. Cool? Works? So that is a strategy for English. How can we utilize the 3 months that we have? November, we can do one thing. That thing is, start off with high weightage chapters. So out of the list that you made, you have to start off with the high weightage chapter, finish all the high weightage chapter, and always, as I said, write the answers of 1 to 2 questions daily at the end for each chapter. So when you are solving in the 30 minutes, no, at the end you have to try it out. Now go ahead with a mix of easy and difficult chapters, because we know at the end difficult chapters and all, when it comes, it becomes really a big burden for your brain. So you can mix, alternatively you can mix easy and difficult chapters, and then you can make a study schedule, and then you can study according to it. So November is for high priority chapters, again with set deadlines. You have to set proper deadlines. Now December is for completing the remaining chapters. Revise the chapters in the alternate weeks that you have completed previously. In the alternate weeks you can revise them. In the other alternate weeks you can revise what you are still studying. Okay, again write answers 1 to 2 questions per subject daily, and increase your studying hours, because December is a month where you might be at your home, so you can utilize more of your time for studying. So do that. I know it might not be feeling that great. I was at your place. Even I am a person who do not like studying too much. Okay, so but remember, these 3 months, if you are able to give your best, then probably it could help you really well to be confident, to be strong, whatever you want. I'm not saying the children who won't be able to score better are not confident. They might be really good at so many other things. But if you have this talent, then why not use it? Give your best every time. Okay, so that is one thing that we can give for ourselves always. Yeah, so November for high priority chapters, we have completed all the high priority chapters then. Okay, December for the remaining chapters, and alternate weeks we are revising the content that we have studied over here as well. January is for revising by solving the previous year question papers. This time you are not revising by reading the notes and things like that. You have to revise by solving the question papers. Now it's time for solving question papers thoroughly. Okay, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, not that. All the papers entirely you have to solve it. Revise in the order of weightage and weak areas. Okay, so the weightage for high priority chapters, start with that and revision. Start with that and revise. And also the weak areas where you are not able to understand things better, there also revision is needed much more. So give priority to that. And in the month of January, you will be having a pre-board. So anyways, you have to study well before that. So make sure you do that. Solve PYQs and solve model papers given by your CBSE. Cool. This is for November, December, January. Now, the timings. What are the timings that you can follow? For regular school going champions, I assume you'll be back by 2:30, something like that. So 2:30 to 3 is refreshment time. Have your lunch and whatever you want. Okay. 3 to 3:30, schedule your task for the day. Okay. What all are you going to do in a day? You have to schedule it out. 3:30 to 5:30, that is 2 hours, study session 1. That study session you can utilize whatever subject you are weak, okay, or high weightage chapter, whatever you want to pick, you can use that. Okay. Now 5:30 to 6, that is 30 minutes. So you can take a 30-minute power nap, because taking a nap is very much important. It helps you recall things better. 6 to 6:30, do a little exercise. Little jogging exercise, again your brain becomes active. 6:30 to 8:30, study session 2. Okay, second study session. So you have basically 5:30 to 6:30 as a little break, but please make sure you're sleeping and you're doing a little exercise back then. Yeah, and then 6:30 to 8:30 you have study session 2. 8:30 to 9, that is half an hour you can use for dinner and refreshment time. From 9 to 10:30, study session 3, that is 1.5 hours for study session. Over here you are utilizing 2 hours, 2 hours to 4 hours, and then 5.5 hours total. Okay, last 10:30 to 11 o'clock, 30 minutes you can use for the revision of the whole thing that you have studied in a day. Okay, for the whole thing that you have studied in a day. Now whenever I say study session 1, study session 2, please remember 30 minutes for each subject. It should be pre-YQ practice. It's very much important. Okay, by 11 you should be sleeping. At 6 a.m. after 8 hours of sleep, you should be waking up and doing an active recall. Think of it and do an active recall like then. Okay, works for you. This is for regular school going champions. You can follow it. You can make your own changes if you want. If you think you're not reaching by this time, you can skip a little. But please make sure you're sleeping at 11 o'clock, my dear children. You can try to wake up early. Okay. Now, for champions who are going for tuitions, so I assume you are coming back at 5 o'clock, something like that. So 5 to 5:30 again is refreshment time for you. 5:30 to 7:30 is study session 1. So 2 hours, that is study session 1. 7:30 to 8 o'clock, do a little exercise and have your dinner. Okay, so have a little exercise, not like you will pick up dumbbells and things like that. Little exercise and have your food also. 8 to 10 study session 2 and 15 minutes of revision. Please use 15 minutes of revision over here itself. We do not have any other time for revision, so you can incorporate it here itself. Okay, and every time study session means 30 minutes is for previous year question practice. Now 10 to 5 you are going to sleep, correct? 10 you are going to sleep because you are going for tuitions and everything, so you will wake up early. You won't stay up for so long because your day might have been very long. So 5 to 5:30 wake up and refresh yourself. 5:30 to 6:30 again 1 hour is study session 3. Works for you? Okay, you can again bring out certain changes in there, but this is what tentatively I am telling you. Works? Now next thing, weekend schedule. How can you spend your time on weekends? Okay, you have to spend at least 6 to 8 quality hours. Okay, for what? Revising the chapters that you have prepared in a week. You can revise by active recall, you can revise by solving questions. I am suggesting you to revise by solving previous year questions. This is very, very, very important. Trust me, it is going to bring out a change. Whatever you studied, sometimes you get tired of studying a lot. At that point of time, when you open your textbook of questions and you try to solve it out, initially you might feel a bit demotivated, but sometimes you might feel a boost of confidence by solving a lot of answers. So if you're not able to do the first question, put a star mark, go to the next question. At some point, you will be able to do at least some question if you have prepared in a week. And that will increase your confidence, my dear children. Works? Now, second, everything which you have marked difficult while studying, revisit it and solve your doubts. So, whatever you have studied in a week and you have marked difficult, you do not have time to invest into that, then now it's the right time to solve all your doubts on Sundays. or the weekends. Okay, so 6 to 8 hours you can spend, rest of the time you can chill and do whatever you want, but you have to do this. Works? Now, homework. So I'm done with everything. I told you what all you need to do, all the different strategies for different subjects. Now I wish to give you a little homework, and that homework is to gather all your study resources, my dear children. Okay, so I have told you that you should be practicing from this. Now if you do not have anything, that becomes a problem. So you have a day. Please gather all the resources that you have, the sample papers, download it, okay, the Oswald book. If you do not have, take it from someone else, lend it, or probably buy it, okay, and then arrange the chapters in the order of priority. After seeing the sample papers, question papers, you know what all chapters have high priority. Arrange the chapters, understand and know your level of preparation. I told you the chapters that is finished, mark them finished, okay, halfway, mark them halfway and try to complete them first. And then you have untouched chapters which are high priority, give them more priority and complete it. So you should be doing this, and we will be meeting on Monday with a specific strategy for science, okay, for science and mathematics, okay. That will be done on Monday, but before that you have to do this homework. And if you are ready for doing this homework, for being in this journey with us for scoring 99%, then do not forget to comment down that we are ready to score 99%. That will give us a boost of confidence to prepare a lot of good content for you as well. Okay, that's a promise. I believe that's a promise. Now, one very important thing, as I said, those who missed this particular information, that is, we are having an aptitude test, Diksha Scholastic Aptitude Test. Okay, this is for everyone who is confused about what you should be taking after 10th. So there is a test, there is a lecture, okay, after which there will be an aptitude test, then one-on-one counseling session, assessment and everything, after which the people who are there, the counseling people, they will be telling you what suits you the best. Okay, so if you want to know more about it, you can click in our description box, there will be a link, okay, you can click on that and get access to it. Works? So that is all about it, my dear children. If you think that this particular video was helpful for you, then do not forget to subscribe to our channel, that is Diksha Vedantu, and do not forget to say that, ma'am, we are ready to score 99% in 99 days. So that's our promise. Be with us and we would guide you in whatever ways that is possible. As of now, we are starting off with science and maths, but if you need it, we are ready to bring in social science and other subjects as well. But it would be always on your need, so you have to let us know. That's all. Have a really good day. Bye-bye.